Today, we're diving into a really ancient idea that there's a hidden prophetic clock, one that suggests the entire story of humanity was written from the beginning, and it's been ticking along right under our noses for thousands of years. So let's just jump right in with a pretty wild question. What if the calendar you and I use every single day, what if it's not just a little off? What if it's actively deceiving us? What if all its weird inconsistencies are actually masking a perfectly structured, divine timeline that was laid out from the moment of creation? This quote really sets the scene for everything we're about to talk about. It's from the Book of Enoch, an ancient text found with the Dead Sea Scrolls, and it says right at the beginning that this message wasn't for the people back then. It was for a distant, future generation, a generation that would be living through a day of tribulation. And you have to wonder, could that be us? Okay, so the key that supposedly unlocks this whole mystery is a really unique calendar, also described in the Book of Enoch. It's a way of telling time that is completely different from our system, and according to these texts, it reveals this hidden divine order to everything. And here's where you really see the difference. Our Gregorian calendar, with its 365 and a quarter days, it's kind of a mess, right? The months are all different lengths, holidays wander all over the week from year to year, and we need a leap day just to keep it from drifting. But the Enoch calendar, it's perfect. Exactly 364 days. That number divides perfectly into 52 seven-day weeks. It's a perfectly sabbatical calendar, which means the holy days land on the exact same day of the week every single year. No exceptions. And the elegance of this calendar is just wow. Look at the symmetry. Each of the 4 seasons has an identical 91-day pattern, 2 months of 30 days, followed by 1 month of 31. You multiply that by 4, and what do you get? 364. No fractions, no drift, no leap years, just this perfect, repeating harmony. But here's where it gets really mind-blowing. This calendar isn't just about marking days. It's the foundation for something way bigger. It's a prophetic formula that these texts claim maps out all of human history. They call it the apocalypse of weeks. Now, in this prophecy, when you hear the word week, don't think 7 days. Think bigger, much bigger. A week here is a 700-year period of history, and each day inside that prophetic week is 100 years. The idea is that all of history is broken down into 10 of these weeks, which adds up to a 7,000-year timeline. So when you lay out this 7,000-year timeline, it's kind of startling how well major biblical events seem to click into place. You see Enoch's birth right there in the first week. Abraham gets called in the 3rd week. The first temple is built in the 5th, and then it's destroyed in the 6th. Even the birth of the church, described as the righteous getting houses, slots perfectly into the 8th week. It's like everything has its designated time. So that brings us to the big question. Where are we on this clock? Well, according to the prophecy, we are living right now in the 9th week. That's a 700-year period that started way back in 1675 and is scheduled to end in 2375. This is our little slice of prophetic history. Okay, but a 700-year window, that's a huge chunk of time, right? It raises the most important question of all. Is there a specific, significant moment for us, for our generation, hidden inside this massive time frame? Well, according to the math in this prophetic formula, 1 year stands out with incredible clarity: 2025. Why? Because that year marks the exact midpoint of our 700-year 9th week. It's a perfect point of balance in the timeline of our current age. And this isn't just some random halfway marker. This point, the year 2025, is identified as the beginning of the final Jubilee. That is, the last 50-year cycle of the age of man. If this ancient timepiece is correct, we are literally standing on the threshold of the final countdown for our era. But it goes even deeper. There's another layer of incredible design to this prophecy. It's not just a straight line from beginning to end. There's a hidden literary structure, almost like a divine signature, that points to the single most important figure in all of history. The whole prophecy is built like a mirror. It's a pattern called a chiasm, where the first half reflects the second half. Look at this. Weeks 1 and 10 both talk about judgment. Weeks 2 and 9, that's our week, both talk about a time of great wickedness followed by a world-changing judgment. The pattern continues, with each pair of weeks echoing a similar theme. And what's at the absolute dead center of it all? The one thing the entire 7,000-year timeline pivots on? The life and ministry of Jesus Christ. He is the centerpiece. So, after all that, what are we supposed to do with this information? What does this ancient framework, which seems to map out all of time with such incredible precision, actually mean for us today? So, to pull it all together, this whole framework really challenges how we see time itself. It suggests that our normal calendar might be a distraction, obscuring a perfect divine order. It reframes history not as random chaos, but as a story written by God that's approaching its prophesied conclusion. And it pinpoints 2025 as the start of the final Jubilee, the last 50-year chapter in the age of man. And so I'll leave you with this question to think about. If this ancient timepiece is accurate, how does that change the way we see the days ahead? It doesn't give us all the answers, but it definitely invites us to watch, to study, and to maybe reconsider the very nature of the times we're living in.